Well, the New South Wales Premier has just responded to a shocking report into bullying and sexual harassment that's sending shockwaves through New South Wales Parliament. Of the most concerning, several people allege they were raped in New South Wales parliamentary workplaces in the past 5 years. Kenny Heatley is live from State Parliament for us. Kenny, the Premier says he will work to weed out perpetrators.
And Tommy says nothing is off the table to make parliamentary workplaces safer. First, let's just hear a little bit from the Premier and the Minister for Women and Mental Health, Bronnie Taylor, at this press conference in the last hour.
It is sobering, confronting and completely unacceptable. Every workplace across our state should be safe, free from harassment, from sexual harassment and sexual assault. That is clearly not the case in the New South Wales Parliament.
For those particular people that may be reading that report today, you know who you are. And my very strong advice to you is that you do not belong in the Parliament of New South Wales.
So this report that has been handed down today, it was done or headed up by the former Sex Discrimination Commissioner, Elizabeth Broderick. It was meant to be handed down in February of this year, but it took a bit longer than expected. It surveyed a bit less than 500 parliamentary staff and MPs across the New South Wales parliamentary workforce. It's about 1/3 of the workforce, and it's harrowing what has come through. It details a culture of dysfunction, elitism, where sexual harassment and bullying and homophobia is not uncommon. And also in terms of sexual assault, out of the survey who had heard about sexual assault, the staffers, it said 56% of it had been perpetrated by staffers working for MPs, and 15% said ministerial staff had done it. And in terms of the people, there were 5 people who alleged that they were victims of rape or attempted rape, and 41% of people who had heard about sexual assault said it had been done behind these walls at State Parliament. The Leader of the Opposition, Chris Minns, had this to say about it earlier as well.
It really paints a dark picture of what's been happening in the New South Wales Parliament over an extended period of time. I want to make this point. I don't think this is about partisanship. It's my view that neither side or any side in politics comes to this issue with clean hands. We all need to do better.
The Premier at the earlier press conference also batted off a lot of questions about the former Minister, Elena Patinos, who was sacked recently from her ministerial portfolio. There were allegations of workplace bullying, but she remains the member of Miranda, and the Premier was defending the decision not to sack her completely from Parliament, even though there were these allegations in place, but there were several questions on that as well. But he says he's going to try and weed out the perpetrators in this, but it was an anonymous review that took place, Tom. So this is likely to rock New South Wales Parliament for some time to come.
Yeah, we're just starting to get the reaction, so it is going to reverberate, as you say. I'm sure there'll be pressure, but will we find out the names, how will that fit as well in terms of due process? So a lot of questions to be answered. Kenny, thank you.